Why do we choose what we do? Every day, we make hundreds of choices. What to eat, what to wear, who to talk to, what to believe, and what to work toward. Some are trivial. Others define the trajectory of our lives. But what drives these choices? Is it logic, emotion, upbringing, society, or something deeper, something more hidden, maybe even biological? In this video, we're going to explore the forces behind human decision-making, from brain chemistry and biases to values and freedom. Understanding why we choose what we do can change the way we think about ourselves and the way we live. The illusion of free will? Many of us believe we are the authors of our choices. But philosophers and scientists have long questioned whether free will truly exists. If every decision is influenced by a cascade of prior causes, genes, upbringing, neurochemistry, how free is any decision? Experiments like Benjamin Libet's famous study in the 1980s suggest that our brains may initiate decisions before we become consciously aware of them. In these experiments, participants were asked to make a simple movement, like flexing a wrist, whenever they felt like it. But brain scans showed a buildup of neural activity milliseconds before the participants reported making a conscious decision. Does this mean we don't actually choose? Not necessarily. But it suggests our choices may be less conscious and more automatic than we think. The brain's architecture. To understand choice, we need to understand the brain. The brain isn't one unified system. It's a network of competing systems. The limbic system, including the amygdala and nucleus accumbens, is involved in emotion, reward, and survival impulses. The prefrontal cortex, particularly the dorsolateral region, helps us plan, delay gratification, and weigh consequences. When you choose to eat a salad instead of a donut, it's not just about willpower. It's a negotiation between these systems. The craving for sugar might come from the limbic system. The rational, health-focused goal comes from the prefrontal cortex. Decisions, then, aren't simple. They are internal tug-of-wars. And depending on context, like stress, sleep, or environment, different systems may win. Contrary to what many believe, emotion isn't the enemy of rational choice. In fact, without emotion, we struggle to make decisions at all. Antonio Damasio, a neuroscientist, studied patients with damage to the brain's emotional centers. These patients could think logically about decisions, listing pros and cons, but were unable to make simple choices like what to eat or what day to schedule an appointment. Their logic was intact, but they were stuck in endless analysis. This shows that emotion gives value to options. It tells us what matters. Without it, decisions lose their weight. We don't just think our way through decisions. We feel our way through them. Our choices are heavily shaped by the past. Every decision we make is filtered through our memories. What worked before, what hurt us, what brought pleasure. Psychologists call this reinforcement learning. We learn to repeat behaviors that give us rewards and avoid those that lead to punishment. Much of this happens below conscious awareness. For example, if you were once humiliated when you spoke in public, your brain remembers that pain. You might now avoid opportunities that involve speaking, even if logically, you know it's a valuable skill. Memory doesn't just record the past. It shapes the future. No one chooses in a vacuum. We are social creatures, and our choices are deeply influenced by others, friends, family, media, and cultural norms. Studies in social psychology show how powerful conformity is. In Solomon Asker's famous experiment, participants gave obviously wrong answers to simple questions just because others in the room gave the same wrong answer. The pressure to conform can override our own perception. Culture also shapes what we value, whether we prioritize independence or community, risk-taking or caution, material success or spiritual fulfillment. Your identity, how you see yourself, is socially constructed. And because choices reflect who we are, they're influenced by the identity society offers us. We like to believe we are rational agents. But research in behavioral economics and psychology tells a different story. Our brains use shortcuts, called heuristics, that can lead to predictable errors. Confirmation bias. We favor information that confirms what we already believe. Loss aversion. We fear losing more than we value gaining. Availability heuristic. We judge likelihood based on what comes easily to mind. Status quo bias. We prefer things to stay the same, even when change would benefit us. These biases aren't flaws, they're adaptations. They evolved to help us make fast decisions in uncertain environments. But in today's complex world, they can mislead us. Being aware of biases doesn't eliminate them, but it can help us question our decisions more critically. Why do we pursue some goals and not others? Psychologists distinguish between intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation comes from within. We do something because it's meaningful or enjoyable, like painting, exploring, or helping others. Extrinsic motivation is driven by external rewards, money, praise, grades, status. Interestingly, over-relying on extrinsic rewards can reduce intrinsic motivation. This is known as the over-justification effect. For example, if a child loves drawing but is paid to do it, their internal enjoyment may decrease. In the long term, intrinsic motivation is more sustainable. It's tied to autonomy, mastery, and purpose, 3 pillars of long-term fulfillment. So, our choices often depend on whether we're seeking validation or alignment with inner values. Our personality traits shape the kinds of choices we're drawn to. The widely accepted Big 5 personality traits include openness to experience, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, neuroticism. People high in openness may seek novelty and creativity. Conscientious people may prefer structure and discipline. Extroverts may choose social settings, while introverts might avoid them. These traits are biological underpinnings, but they are also shaped by life experiences. They influence not just what we do, but what we want to do. So when 2 people face the same decision, they might choose differently, not because one is wrong, but because they are wired differently. Ultimately, our choices are reflections of what we value. Do we value freedom or security, success or simplicity, justice or harmony? Our values act like a compass. They help us navigate uncertainty. They also give meaning to our actions. But values aren't fixed. They evolve over time, shaped by experience, reflection, and crisis. And sometimes, we don't know what we value until we're forced to choose. Identity plays a huge role here. The story we tell ourselves about who we are, ambitious, compassionate, resilient, affects what choices feel right or wrong. When our choices align with our identity, we feel authentic. When they don't, we experience a conflict. Sometimes, the environment decides for us. Not directly, but by shaping what's easy and what's hard. This is a principle behind choice architecture. A classic example is placing healthy food at eye level in a cafeteria to encourage better eating. The easier the option, the more likely we'll choose it. The design of our environment, digital and physical, nudges us constantly. Social media apps are engineered to capture attention. Thanks for watching. If you want to watch more of this kind of videos, then do not forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon.